Man, for those of y'all that just tapped in, you just tapped into the very first episode of the Grimy the Shiny podcast with your boy Smaqs KJ, man.
Yeah.
For those of y'all just tapped in, man, I just want to give you guys a little rundown. This is what we thinking, man. Grimy the Shiny is just about, you know what I mean, the stories of triumph. You know what I mean? I've been to prison. I went to prison, so I feel like a lot of people need to know the secrets. You know what I mean? We giving the codes. You feel me, KJ?
Yeah.
KJ, somebody that I knew for a long time. Too. Got a lot of history with my man KJ, man.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been so long, man. Back when we was doing the music and shit, man.
Yeah.
Even then, bro. I don't know if you knew it, but you know, me and my boys was struggling, you know what I mean? Even though we was doing the music, we was still stuck out there in addiction and doing that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the whole thing about Grimy the Shiny is, man, we want to give you guys the secrets. We want to tap in with a few people who have figured it out, you know what I mean? Who got their lives together, who pulled themselves up out of the dirt, who pulled themselves up out of the griminess of the life that they were living, and excelled themselves into becoming successful in life, whatever that perception of success is. You know what I mean? So I got y'all tapped in right now. You know what I mean? Going live. We going live too. So we want y'all, if you guys could tap in and follow with us and just take this journey with us. You know what I mean? This is the first episode. So we gonna get it going. KJ, what's happening?
What's going on, man?
We chilling, baby.
It's been a little bit.
Yeah, it has. It has, man. You know, your boy was gone for a minute, man. It's like, it's been rough, bro. But you know what I mean? I made it up out of there, man. Did you get to see the video?
I did.
You did. You actually edited. How'd you like the editing on it? How'd you like the footage we got, man?
Yeah, man. I actually wish I could have went because I know you hit me up to go.
Man,
I couldn't make it there, but I think even then the footage was still dope. We was able to put something dope together, and I think it was something that there are people out there who can relate to that situation and need something like that, because there's people out here who just getting out.
Yep.
Who might feel like, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to become this rehabilitated person and stay out of that life and things like that? And I think watching something like that would help motivate them and help push them and help get them in that mindset to do what's right.
For sure, man. And that was the whole purpose of that video, man. You know, shout out to Paige Norton, man. She was actually a contact that we had that actually got us to be able to go into the prison and do the shoot, man. For those of y'all just tapping in, I was incarcerated in Utah State Prison. I caught a case in 2012, but I had a long life of breaking rules and breaking laws. You know what I mean? From fucking juvenile hall to jail to prison. But I caught a case in 2012. Went to prison for like 7 years. You know what I mean? And I knew I had to do something different, dog. You know what I mean? And it was like, man, especially after losing my brother, losing Jax. You know what I mean? You remember Jax, man?
Yeah.
It's like,
he's a good dude.
Yeah, man. It was rough, man. So that was the whole purpose of the video, man. I wanted people to know that, man, good people do go to prison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Good people make mistakes that end up landing them suffering from detrimental situations. You know what I mean? And it just so happens prison was one of those things that I experienced that I was able to kind of learn myself, man. And when I was in prison, man, I came across a choice. You know what I mean? It was either do I step into these prison walls and further my criminal behavior, right? Because I feel like prison is like, it's like a warehouse.
Yeah.
And they mass produce criminals, right? It's like a conveyor belt. These people are coming in and they're just creating worse criminals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're surrounded by pretty much the fucking degenerates of the state, of the city. You know what I mean? So a lot of times when guys get in there and they're learning to be better criminals, right? They're learning to sell drugs better. They're learning to kill people better. They're learning to get away with murder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I came across that in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I knew, I was like, man, I've been doing this my whole life. I've been thugging, I've been gangbanging, I've been running that my whole life. You know me and my brothers from 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? And it was like, when I came across that situation, it was either I was gonna better myself or just further my criminal expertise, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? I did great. I feel like I did great.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys out there that do that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a hard situation, man. It's kind of how they say, surround yourself with the person you want to become, but in there, the only people you can surround yourself is other criminals, man. And so it's like
that's a hard thing.
And so it's hard to just not listen to that and because I'm sure there's tons of people in there who that's exactly what they do. What you said, just trying to become better criminals.
Man, it takes a person that's ready, dog, that has hit rock bottom. I feel like they always talk about rock bottom. You know what I mean? And it really puts you in a position where it's like they say the most detrimental time in a man's life is when his old self comes and meets the person that he can be. You know what I mean? Where that person of vibrating at a high frequency, that person that's shed himself of all the negativity. You know what I mean? That higher version of yourself. And I came across that person in my cell. You know what I mean? I came across that person, and I knew that's who I need to be. I'm gonna step into that role for my wife, for my kids, for my loved ones. You know what I mean? So like, dude, got my high school diploma in there. You know what I mean? I could have went to school. I never went to school on the street. I always talked about doing it. I just never did, man. I got my high school diploma in there. And then after my high school diploma, I said, you know what, man? I want to go to college. And in Utah State Prison, they got a program, man, that's called, it's a college, Davis Tech. It's out here in Kaysville. So out in Kaysville. So Davis Tech has college courses you could take in there. And so I went to culinary school, got my culinary degree, you know what I mean? And this is a degree that is benefiting my life for the longevity. I've been out since 2019, dog. I'm a private chef.
I be seeing your food on the it be looking good,
bro,
man.
I'm telling you, dog.
I'm gonna need to try some one of these days.
You ain't lying. And it's cooking like. So I'm a private chef at a private rehab. You know what I mean? And shout out to the Renaissance Ranch. You know what I mean? These people. You know, when I applied for the job, right? I told them straight up. I said, look, man, I'm a convicted felon. I've been incarcerated in prison. I went to prison. You know what I mean? So I struggled a few times on certain things. And they were like, man, you're exactly who we're looking for. You know what I mean? So I kind of been there over a little year. So I actually just drove down from Idaho, like I was telling you, man. Came down from Idaho, and I was up there. They got a retreat out there, man. So I was cooking for like 150 of them. You know what I mean? And I also talk to them and kind of give them the codes that I utilized. You know what I mean? And like I said, man, Grimy to Shiny, man. That's what the podcast is about. Too many podcasts. They want to talk about all the good times. They want to talk about, already leveling up. You know what I mean? But they fail to divulge, right? The steps and the necessary lessons that you learned. The necessary steps that you took to equip you to be able to be successful. So
I got a question. So you said you got your high school diploma, and then you went to college in there. While you was in there, did you have, other inmates telling you like you're wasting your time, or you
all day, KJ?
Why the hell you doing that? Like trying to like get you, to give up.
I sure did. So I always saw it like this, right? Dude, I was like, I'm big on fucking like zombies and shit, dog. So like Walking Dead and shit like that, dog. I've always watched that shit, man. But anyways, dude, so that's how I pictured it. We're stepping into prison. I've pictured it like I'm surrounded by zombies, right? And all these zombies, those are those guys that, hey man, you're wasting your time, nigga. You need to come chill. You need to come do this. Dude. Why are you going to school? Those are zombies. And I felt like they were. I was surrounded by them because you're in prison. Like I said, you're in the armpit of the city. Right. All the degenerates, all the criminals, all the murderers, all the rapists, all the killers. You are sitting amongst the demons and amongst the devils. Don't get me wrong. Good people go to prison, but a mass majority of them belong in prison. Though a lot of people in there that they're in that revolving door, that's their reality, right? They bought into the fact that they're going to be criminals for the rest of their life. They bought into the fact that they're constantly going to be in and out of prison, right? So yeah, dude, I was surrounded by that on a daily, but I had to be content, right, with who I was. And see, the thing about it is, KJ, you know me, you know my brothers, man. We've been living that life our whole life. So I felt like I did all that. I don't need to prove myself to nobody. I could walk out on the street, any hood. They gonna 10 hut to your boy Smaqs. You feel me? They gonna 10 hut, right? So I felt like I'm not gonna sit here and try to succumb to people's perception of what they think I should be, right, in
Yeah.
prison. Man, you got to ride, homie. Don't get me wrong, right? I didn't get involved in no gangs in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't get involved in I stayed away from the gambling table because I learned early that motherfuckers who were gambling, it just puts you in a situation where you got to deal with other people's energy, which could lead to a fight.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I knew from the first 5-6 months of being in prison. Don't get clicked up. Stay away from the gangs. Fortunately, in the Utah State Prison, Polynesians, man, they kind of run the prison. They're like the top, right?
Yeah.
So they never try to get me like, hey man, let's be on some gang shit. But the fact of the matter is like I'm working. I kept a job the whole time I was in there, getting paid like 40 cents an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't want to rely on my wife. I didn't want to rely on her, man. I had already been a burden.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like I was a burden, bro.
Yeah.
Because you met my wife. You know what I mean? She was always holding the kids down and doing all that. So I told myself, man, as soon as I'm able to work in here, and that was probably the first time I ever had a job in my life. I went to prison at 27. It was the first time I got out when I was like 33.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was the first time I actually had a job, dude. And it was just applying myself, dog.
Yeah.
Applying myself. You feel me?
That's good, man. That's good. I always wonder, like, because I see there's tons of people who go in there and you go to college or get their high school diploma, and if those other inmates are encouraging them to do it or if they're trying to discourage them to do it.
The majority of them are, bro.
Yeah.
The majority. I tell motherfuckers. I tell the guys at the ranch, man, where I work. I'm like, bro, there's so much drugs in prison.
Yeah.
If you think me abstaining from drugs while in prison is like, oh, you're in prison, you gotta be clean. Nah.
Yeah.
I was around more dope in there than I was on the street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody is in there constantly trying to get high. It's just, like I said, dude, it's a mass production of hurt people, bro.
Yeah.
They're just hurt.
What made you choose culinary school?
I think what made me choose culinary school, bro, was, I was talking to my wife, and see, dude, that's what I'm saying. When you stay away from, I suffered from addiction. I don't know if you knew that in that time back in the day, because I used to try to feel like we hit it pretty well, dog. We over there, doing shows and shit, dropping guns on stage, dropping motherfucking pit bags of pills and dope. I'll never forget that. But yeah, man, what was your question again? My bad, bro. I was digressing a little bit.
What made you choose culinary school?
Okay, so culinary school, that's right. So I was talking to my wife, and I knew that. You know what I mean? I figured that I never had a job, bro.
Yeah.
And it was hard to get a job because, we're from California, so when we came out to Utah, even then it was hard to get a job as a convicted felon with no education.
Yeah.
So I knew the best way for me to make it was when I got out was to first, equip myself with an education, because the state took my time away, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that time got took away from me. I caught an aggravated robbery charge with a gun, and they took that time away. That's cool. They took it. But they can never take away my education, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I thought. I said, okay, cool. I'm going to get released from from these walls one of these days.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure that I'm going to equip myself with the right tools that I'm going to need to give me a head start.
Yeah.
You feel me? So that's why I got the high school diploma. That's where the high school diploma started.
Mm-hmm.
And then culinary arts was, me and my wife were talking. I said, dude, we need to figure out what are the most felon friendly, because I'm always going to have the felony, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I try to go about getting expunged, but being that I have such a people crime and it's considered an aggravated crime, they make it harder for you to try to get it expunged.
Yeah.
So that was out the window.
Yeah.
So when we looked it up, and culinary arts in the state of Utah, like in the cooking industry, was one of the top ones. That they don't. It doesn't matter whether you have a background. They go off of your expertise and what you know.
Yeah.
So that's what made me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Want to go to culinary school, dog. And it's worked out so far.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It worked out so far.
So it was pure that you never had like a passion for it before that or nothing?
Well, we're Polynesian, bro. We cook.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
always cook. You know
Hell
what I
yeah.
mean? So I grew up around my mom cooking all the time. I was the son out of my mom had 4 boys and 1 girl, and I was out of all the sons, I was the one that was always in the kitchen with her.
Yeah.
Like, mommy, show me this. Mommy, teach me how to do this. Always trying to be, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of learned how to cook, and my passion for cooking was somewhere that was like, that kind of was instilled in me a little bit.
So it kind of just worked out that way.
Yeah,
That's
so
dope. That's
like
dope.
I said, the universe is never confused, bro.
Yeah.
It puts you in a situation that you're supposed to be in, man.
So you also got your, What's it? Personal trainer certificate?
Yeah, so the personal training, dog. So boom, I get released in 2019, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
Boom. And see, and that's what I'm saying. See, so first of all, these are one of the codes I'm gonna give y'all, man. These are one of the codes. These are one of the codes we're gonna give the listeners, right? If you struggling out there and you trying to vibrate at a high frequency and you trying to elevate in life, first and foremost, you gotta abstain from any vices that are keeping you from fully immersing yourself in your reality, fully immersing yourself in what it is that you want to do. Because anybody could want something.
Yeah.
But when you got an anchor holding you down like drugs or any type of vice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I did. I stayed away from the drugs, bro, and kept it pushing.
Okay. So that was your way to stay away from it during COVID.
Yeah, dude. During COVID. Yeah, that's right. Fuck, fool.
The COVID.
I'm like, dude, going and it's like, dude, I totally forgot, bro.
No, you're good. No, you're good.
COVID happened, bro. And when I got furloughed, when they furloughed, I'm like, oh, you gotta sit back. You gotta sit back and because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
I was like, nah, that's not happening, bro. So when the state was sending out them checks,
yeah.
You know, I just got out of prison. I've been out for like a year, almost a year, like 9 months, and I was working out the whole time, and then I'm fit as fuck. You know what I mean? I was like, I've always thought about doing that.
Yeah.
So I enrolled myself into school, and the state paid for it with them furlough check. I mean, with them stimmies.
Yeah.
So while everybody was sitting on their ass, fucking just fucking falling deeper into a deep, sad depression, because dude, COVID was a rough time.
It was.
A lot of people, man.
It was.
You know what I mean? It's like, fuck it, dude, I'm gonna get certified, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
I
dope.
see your things coming along too, man. You bubbling, dog. You been doing your thing, man. It's like, dude,
trying.
Oh, I know. But you constantly staying on the grind. Ever since back in the day when we knew each other, man. You always, man. We came close.
Yeah.
Dude, I was digging through my box and I found a fucking a press kit.
Oh yeah.
Press kids, dog. Remember I was trying to get the one you had.
Yeah, I have it on my. I should have brought it, man. It's at my house. It's still on my dresser, waiting for me to give it to you. And
you good. I found one. My wife pulled it out, bro.
Yeah.
So man, dog. So as far as your reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as I've known you,
mm-hmm.
I know you were in the military, right? You were in the military. Are you still active?
No. I got out a long time ago.
Yeah, well,
2010.
Appreciate your service, brother.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Appreciate the service. So, like I said, as long as I've known you, bro, you've always been professional.
Mm-hmm.
You've always been serious, right?
Yeah.
About whatever it is you were doing. And for those of y'all just tapping in, dude, my boy KJ, it's your boy Smaqs, Grimy the Shiny. So my reality with him, with you were our manager at one point.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? You had that New Talent Entertainment. It was bubbling in Salt Lake. It was maybe one of your first businesses.
Yeah. Shit was hot back then, man.
Yeah, it was. So I know you've always been like I said, you've always been on a positive vibe and trying to elevate, man. But what's the story behind that? Like what formed the foundation?
So a lot of people don't know my childhood. I don't talk about it a lot. But I did have a rough childhood. You know, I grew up in the Bay Area. I grew up in Texas until I was about 11, and then my mom came and got me and then moved to Bay Area. So we lived in Richmond, Oakland, Pittsburgh, all types of places out there, and it was rough for me and my mom, to be honest.
So mom was a single mom?
Well, she was a single mom, plus we didn't really get along.
Okay.
The fact is, you know, my dad left before I was born, and my mom gave me to her parents. And so I was raised by my grandparents until she came and got me when I was 11. And so I had lost a lot of respect for my mom. I felt like my mom was the same. You know, she came and visited from time to time, but, you know, a lot of people say, you know, absentee father ain't a father. And so I looked at it as, well, it should be the same for mothers.
Yep.
And so because my mom was an absentee mother, I just didn't respect her as my mother. And so I called my grandma the mom. Yeah. And my mom hated it. And finally, when I was about 11, she was ready to be a parent. And so basically, she was just signing over like temporary custody to my grandparents until, you know, she stopped doing that and came and got me. So it was rough for me and my mom. We didn't get along. We was constantly arguing and extremely poor. And a lot of the male role models was street drug dealers. Yeah. They were the ones taking care of me, giving me cash and stuff like this. And then, you know, my mom found out these are the people I was hanging out with. She kicked me out the house. I lived in a bread truck.
Really?
By myself for about 7 months. by myself in a bread truck.
Wow.
And it was a bread truck in a friend's back.
How old were you?
I was like 14.
That's rough. That's rough, man.
And I just, the little drug dealers were from me, some little tree, and I would just sell that here and there. So that's how I ate.
Yeah.
And so I never really wanted to get involved in that crime heavy, but I knew I had to do what I had to do to survive. Yep. I'm on my own. I'm 14.
Self-preservation.
Yeah. So I was like, look, if I got to sell a little bit here and there so I can eat on a daily basis, and that's what I got to do. But I still went to school every day because I already knew in that mentality, like this wasn't for me. This is not the life for me. Yeah. So I still went to school every day, from that bread truck, everything. Then, after school, sold a little, dime bags here and there so I can get some bread so I can eat and stuff. And that's what it was for 7 months. And then my mom finally let me back in. But even then, it was still rough. And it was still, we didn't get along. Then my mom went to jail because she had warrants. And so I was back in the house, but I lived by myself for a year in the house because she went to prison. She went to jail for a year. She wasn't actually in prison, just in the county jail for a year. And she had lived with the roommate, so the roommate was still taking care of all the rent. But they didn't really. They was like, you're not my kid, so I'm not gonna take care of you. Yeah. They're like, you can stay here, but you on your own. So for after that
tough love.
Yeah. So after that 7 months, I lived with my mom again for a month, and since she got locked up. For some warrants that she had, and so again I was just back on my own. So I had to just grow up quick and figure out how to survive. So the military was my escape. I did ROTC for a little bit in high school, and so my grades weren't the best because I was in and out of the streets and stuff. And so I was like, all right, I can't go to college. I ain't trying to get no dead-end job. So I was like, fuck, I'm gonna join the military. That's my escape. Yep. And that was my way out of the hood and the projects and stuff. And so I joined the military. But after that, I grew up in the, around these drug dealers and stuff, so nobody never taught me how to be an adult. So I fucked up a lot of finances and shit in the military. My credit was stupid dumb, just all jacked up, repos and all types of stuff, and because I didn't know how to,
Parents didn't teach you about parents didn't teach me about credit either.
They didn't teach me about credit.
Teach your kids about credit, you guys, please.
They didn't teach me about
benefit their life.
How to be financially stable. So the military paid me well, but I was blowing that money as fast as it was coming in. Yeah. And even when I was deployed, you make tons of money while you deploy tax-free. But again, I was just blowing that money as fast as it was coming in. And so I was in financial ruins towards the end of my military time. Yeah. And then I started getting in trouble in the military because mentally I was fucked up. Like, I'm like, damn, I'm doing all this service for this country, but I was blaming everybody but myself. Yeah. I was like,
that's usually how it goes.
Yeah, but I'm like, I'm financially ruined. Like, luckily the military gives me room and board, or so I'll probably be homeless in the military and stuff. And so my last deployment, I got into a fight with somebody, and I ended up pulling out my pistol on him. While we was deployed.
Sidearm
I put my sidearm on him because he threw his M4 at me, right? Because we started shoving, we started a shoving match, right? We just not agreeing that day. He threw his M4 at me, so I said, "Bro, what the fuck you doing?" I pulled my and so that I got tackled, and they disarmed me for the rest of my deployment, sent me home, and then I talked to my commander, and my commander was like, "Look, I'm gonna give you an option. You either get your shit together, or if you want to get out right now, I'll let you out." Yeah. I said, "Let me out." And I got out. It still was just a financial mess. I ended up having to get a fucking job at Sonic driving as a cook. Yeah, dog. And I'm like, man, this is where I was. That's rough. This is where I ended up at, man. And so after that, I was like, it wasn't jail or prison, but to me that was my rock bottom, because I was like,
everybody's rock bottom is different.
Because I was like, I knew this wasn't what I wanted as a kid, and this is where I'm at as an adult. So I'm like, all right, I got to get my shit together. So I just started, studying like business and credit and fixing my credit and how can I, start my own business and get my shit together. And I just started educating myself, kind of like you said, you went and got your education. Yeah. So that's exactly what I did. I just started learning and researching. And if I wasn't at work, I wasn't at the club and all this with everybody else. I was at home researching and learning, the library, on the internet, whatever, like trying to figure this shit out. And that's kind of where it was. It was at a point where I said, I'm gonna get out where I'm at and I'm never going back.
Yep.
And that's
hear that? You guys hear that? Those are the codes. Yeah. those are the secrets. You feel me? Education is one of the things that is like you said, dude. Education and staying vibrating, dog. When you vibrating like that, and see the struggle, bro. You've been through some struggles.
Yeah.
I've been through some struggles. And a lot of times, dude, we were taught from our parents, bro, that you run from struggles. At least I was taught at a young age, like, if it gets hard, run.
Yeah.
If it gets hard, grow.
Yep.
I mean, run, take off. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, as I got older, I figured out, especially being in prison, it's like, man, the struggle is what makes me.
Yeah.
The struggle is what shows me what I'm capable of doing. Yeah. The struggle is what shows me what I could take and how far I could take it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So nowadays, I don't look at struggles like, oh man, I'm trying to dodge these struggles. No, I'm not trying to dodge no problems. Yeah. I want those problems to come to me so I can overcome it with whatever it is, the knowledge that I've acquired up until that moment. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing, man. It's crazy. I've never really heard a lot about the backstory. I remember you was telling me you was from Bay, but like I said, dude, we were so out there, man, being young, homie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. For those of y'all tapping in and listening, man, the Grimy the Shiny podcast is all about trying to enlighten y'all about what it is of people who've struggled, right? People who have hit rock bottom, and like he was saying, like KJ was saying, everybody's rock bottom looks different.
Yeah.
People get fixated on the fact that they miss the point of actually being in a rock bottom, because to them, someone else's prison's rock bottom. Nah, prison, like you said, your rock bottom. It might not have been prison. It might not. But is the feeling of it, of being in despair and being down there and coming to that fork in the road. That's your rock bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, I can either make this decision or make that decision, and that's a rough spot to be in. You know what I mean? And some people, they don't make the right choice. You know, and that leads to a lifelong of hurt and pain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it gets rough, man.
Yeah, it's definitely, that's something I learned is to not run from those problems and not try to hide from it. And a lot of times now, because of those childhood things that I dealt with, like, I don't see problems as major problems. I'm like, man, I lived in a bread truck on my own as a kid.
Grateful.
All right, so this problem ain't nothing. This something I could face. It's we just gonna go through it straight on, head on, and we gonna deal with it. And it helps with a lot of things, man. It helps with stress and things like I don't stress like I used to.
No.
Because I'm like, man, sitting here stressing about it ain't going to fix it.
No.
The only thing that's going to fix it is me getting up and finding the solution and then going and handling that solution.
Say that then. See, that's what, when I was in prison, dude, I came up with this quote, right? And I say it a lot. I teach a lot of men about this quote, and I break it down for them. What you experience now is for but a moment. But moments don't define who we are. It's the transition we choose to take between each moment that show us our true strength. Yeah. You feel me? Because we're a part of a society, man, a society that subconsciously programs you to be fixated on the moment.
Yeah.
Man, I like the moment, right? You were in a bread truck. I'm living in a bread truck. That's a moment.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, you can now society teaches you to fixate on that moment through, like, the news, man. They're always shooting all this shit, making you stay in that depression, right? You could have sat there in that bread truck and like, man, wallow in my despair, like, oh fuck, bro, I'm just gonna be in this wet bread truck. But nah.
Yeah.
The transition, because that's not going to be the last moment you're going to experience.
Yeah.
We're going to constantly be experiencing moments in our life. Yeah. We're going to constantly be experiencing all these negative, perceived negative situations, right? That could either slow us down because we're fixated on the moment, like, oh man, I can't pay the bills. Okay, you can't pay the bills. What are you going to do to transition from that moment to get you to the next moment? Because the bills are going to be due every month.
Yeah.
Right? So are you going to sit there and wallow in your despair and sit there and just be succumb to depression because you're dealing with something that seems like it's hard to bear? The universe is never going to put yourself in a situation that you cannot handle. Your higher power is not going to put you in a situation that you cannot handle. These situations that the universe, our higher power, puts us in is because we're equipped with the tools to dominate that situation and become stronger.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah, I feel you.
And that's what you did.
Yeah.
That's what I did. And it's such a good thing, man. That's why I feel like this podcast is super important, bro. Because, you know, I've been tapping into a lot of local podcasts and just kind of feeling them out. And I just feel like not enough people are talking about it, KJ. I feel like not enough people are talking about it. It's like such a taboo thing. Oh, you were on drugs? Oh, you been to prison? They don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But if you look at it statistically in America, every person either knows someone who's been to prison or addicted, or has been to prison or suffers from addiction. You know what I mean?
And because people don't want to talk about it, somebody who's suffering from that addiction, that's what makes them scared to ask for help.
Yeah.
Because people don't want to talk about it.
That's what I'm saying. It makes a taboo thing, and you think you're going to swift it under the rug, and it's going to go away, but it's not.
Yeah.
For those of y'all tapping in, man, we on the listening on the Grimy to Shiny podcast. I'm also going live right here on my TikTok. I got a video that kind of bubbled a little bit. It got like 600,000 views. Make your boy feel like a superstar. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to capitalize on that. So I see there's a few of y'all in there. Let's see what y'all got going on. Let's see what we talking about. I want to make sure the picks up. The struggle is real. The storms are temporary, for sure, man. Tap the screen and share the live first, y'all. I want y'all to tap the screen and share the live, man, so we can bubble this up. But storms are temporary.
Yeah, they don't last forever.
No. People think, man, that's what I'm saying. A storm is a moment, y'all. Yeah. A storm is a moment. You know what I mean? Moments don't define who you are. It's the transition. Now, when I say transition, even when I talk about the guys, because I teach a physical psych class, I utilize my certification in a personal trainer in my job as well. So I wear several hats in my career. I'm a private chef, but I'm also a personal trainer. So on Fridays, I teach a class called Physical Psych. And that's one of the things I try to teach these men, man. We've been pre-programmed to get fixated on these moments.
Yeah.
Like when I went to prison, that was a moment, bro. And I had folded to all kinds of moments in my life. I can't get a job. I fold. Let me go sell drugs and get high. I'm arguing with my wife. Oh man, let me go do something stupid and fuck my life up. Those are moments that I succumb to. Those are moments that, wow, sock me in the jaw and I buckle and fold.
Yeah.
You feel me? But when I went to prison, dude, I don't know what it was, man. It was just something different for me, KJ. I felt like, man, this is a moment. I'm at a fork in my road, and I need to figure out what it is that I'm gonna do to make this transition, because going to prison was a moment. Being released was a moment, right? That was 7 years. I knew that whatever I do in between these two moments, this transition from being arrested and being released, that I cannot waste this time. I cannot squander this time. So I really learned myself, you know what I mean?
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like, you know, I've never been to prison or anything, but I feel like your first day in is almost as scary as the day you get released.
Oh, for sure.
Because you like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, how do I get my life together? And so a lot of people think, oh, that release date is
the
happy day, but it's just as scary as your first day.
Just as scary, just as stressful. My first day was just as scary and just as stressful. Well, going to jail was I've been to jail a lot, but stepping into prison for the first time, and in Utah State Prison, that was like a prison that was like 60, 70 years old. It's an old prison, so they got old bars, clink, 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 clink. The sounds are old. It's just old, creaky, fucking cold ass tin fucking metal box. Yeah. So dude, that feeling was like it was nervous. It was like, oh man, okay, what am I gonna experience? Yeah. And being released was the same thing, right? I've been in there for 7 years. I got a release date. And I remember walking out. I remember they keep you in this, in my videos, one of the first videos, the visiting room. It's a visiting room, but so they use that visiting room for a pre-release too. Yeah. Because it's one of the bigger rooms in the oldest part of the prison. So I'm sitting in there, and they sit you in there for hours, bro, like 4 or 5 hours. So my wife, in the videos too, I talk about the glass house. My wife's sitting in the glass house, I know, because that's where all the families are waiting. So I'm nervous, dude. I dress out, put some street clothes on that my wife already bought for me, got me right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I remember being so anxious, bro, because I didn't feel like I was gonna go home that night. I didn't. Yeah. Because so many guys have, hey man, you getting released this day, and they sit there, and right when they step their foot, they're like, oh, you got to come back. You got a warrant or something, right? Yeah. So man, it was so nerve-wracking, bro. And then when I finally felt like I was released, was after we had already walked out the glass house, jumped into the car, and passed the cops at the gate. Yeah. And once I got on the freeway, Bro, a flood of tears just came falling out of my eyes, bro. I just started crying hysterically, dog. And my wife was like, she was like nervous. She was like, you good? You good? I was like, yeah. She was like, why are you crying? I was like, fuck. Like, fuck, man. I fucking made it out of there, dog.
Yeah.
I fucking made it out of there. And like you said, dude, it's just as scary, bro. Being released is just as scary. But like I said, dude, you can apply that quote to your life. I apply it to my life every day. Moments don't define who I am. I'm experiencing moments every day.
Yeah.
Now, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna wallow in the moment, or am I gonna focus on the transition? And that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
And I've been vibrating at a high frequency. You know what I mean? Vice free. Making sure that I'm setting a cornerstone for my loved ones, for my kids. You know what I mean? And concentrating on just being a good man to my wife, to my partner, and a good father to my kids. You know what I mean? It's not even about just my kids. It's about my bloodline. It's about my kids.
Yeah.
I'm trying to change the paradigm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Out of my immediate brotherhood, a lot of my cousins, and I'm one of the first homeowners due to buy a home. You know what I mean? I've been out in 3 years, and it's some people are like, oh, it's just a house, bro. Coming from where I came from, buying a house is a big fucking thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a big thing in general, man. It ain't easy to buy a house. Buying a house is one of the hardest things to do in life.
Yeah, it is, and it wasn't easy. And with me and my wife, man, I've been blessed to have a good partner, man, that I've been with over for 20 plus years. You know what I mean? So she knows me. She saw me at my worst, and she's benefiting from me as my best. You know what I mean? Because she stood around. You know what I mean? So, like I said, man. It's all about elevating. It's all about trying to become better. That's all I think about every day is just becoming better. Every year got to be better. Yeah. Whether it's financially, whether it's emotionally, whether it's spiritually, whether it's in monetary value, anything. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's how I look at it. I was talking to my girl the other day. You know, she's dealing with some things, and so I told her the way I look at life is, if you could just be 1% better than the day before.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the year, you 365 times
sure
percent better than where you were.
That's a whole new.
Yeah, that's a
whole new. That's a paradigm shift.
Yeah, I'm like, so all it is 1% a day, man. 1% a day to improve yourself, and at the end of the year, you a whole new person.
And it feels so good, right? You see how your girl, she's struggling, right?
Yeah.
And you give her that solid advice, bro. Yeah. And that's like me, bro. Like I feel good that. Because I'm substance free, because I'm vibrating at a high frequency, because I'm constantly trying to become a better person, better man, better partner, better father, right?
Yeah.
So she can count on, if she's struggling, I'm going to give her the best advice of this high vibrational man that she can possibly get.
Yeah.
You feel me? Before she couldn't do that.
Yeah.
She couldn't count on me. I never had a job.
Yeah.
She was paying all the bills. She was doing all of that. You know what I mean? When we was doing shows and doing all that, she was funding a lot of that shit, a lot of it. You know what I mean? Aside from when you were putting shows together for us on the management team, you know what I mean? But it feels good, bro, to be a beneficial factor in all facets of my life.
Yeah.
As a father, as a partner, as an interaction with you. This is the same thing. We interacting right now. When we talking, you're getting a response substance free. I'm not being clouded by any vices. I'm vibrating at a high frequency. So our synapses are firing off right now in our brains.
Yeah.
People that are tapped in, that are listening, they're absorbing these words of experience. I don't even want to say words of wisdom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're words of wisdom. But it's like words of experience. We motherfucking now about experience, right? That leads me to the next thing I talk about. Is like that makes me feel about, bro. It's like experience, bro. A lot of people go through these experiences, man, and like I said, while we talk about the podcast, they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So you just made that whole transition, right?
Yeah.
Of the struggle obsolete because you're not even talking about it.
Yeah.
So that's not it may have benefited you, but that benefit stopped.
Yeah.
Right? But when we're talking about the transition and the codes and the secrets that we utilize to better ourselves as men, to better ourselves as women, and then we complete the circle, we struggled, we learned, we overcame. Now what? Complete the circle and pass it on.
Yeah.
Pass it on. Because that's so much positive energy that you're putting out into the world, and that's an important thing, man.
For sure.
That's where I feel is like people miss the mark.
Yep.
You went through those, you learned those lessons through those struggles so you could pass it on to somebody else, the younger generation or the less fortunate generation or the one that's struggling, to let them know that, bro, you could skip that.
Yeah.
You don't even, now let's do away with that so you don't have to deal with that. I went through it.
Yeah.
I went through 7 years of prison. You don't got to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Shit.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't got to go through 7 years of prison to learn some shit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got going on. I'm listening with you, KJ.
What they saying in there?
People fail to realize hurt people hurt people. Those are the types of people in the world. Yeah, that's absolutely true, man. Hurt people do hurt people. You know what I mean? And it's a thing that people get stuck into the fact that, okay, hurt people, but hurt people don't have to hurt people. Hurt people is a choice. But when it's all they know, when hurt is all they know, when that's their love language, right? You gotta remember that. Some people's love language. It's crazy, bro, because I was talking to my boy. We were talking last night at the retreat. And mind you, I'm at a retreat and all these guys are in rehabilitation, right? It's a private rehab. They pay to be out here. So it's not like a court order thing. These guys have hit their rock bottom. Yeah. And they're trying to better themselves through therapy. And it's more like holistic therapy. But anyways.
That's dope.
Yeah, I was talking, we were talking and while we were talking, like we're having a conversation with men, dude, and this dude's kind of young, you know what I mean? And he says while we're talking and vibing and interacting, he'll like throw little things. He'll throw little jabs out there, like little negative jabs that I'm picking up on. And I stopped and I turned and I said, I said, you see what you just did? He was like, what? I said, you see what you just said? I said, bro, that those words that came out of your mouth, I said, we're over here vibing, right? The positive energy, a positive vibe. I said, what you said serves no purpose. I said, what you said, there's no purpose behind what you just said right now. He's like, yeah, I know. And I said, I'm not trying to pull your card. I just want you to understand that. And see, that was his mechanism that he utilized through his reality. Yeah. It helped him manipulate his way and made him feel like he was manipulating his way through conversations, through his defense mechanism, right? Yeah. He gets serious, let's joke around about it. Yeah. And I told him, I said, look, bro, I said, a lot of times in our life, I said, because I know of him, and the life he came kind of the same life, you know, growing up less fortunate, thugging and gangbanging or whatever, right? And I said, a lot of guys like us, we come into a point in our life, and it's usually around like 15, where that person, that 15-year-old person we got respected, we got feared, we got loved by the opposite sex, you know what I mean? So we started feeling those feelings, and we loved that feeling of respect, of damn, motherfuckers respect me. Yeah. So what we do, what do? We hold on to that version of ourselves all up until, like I said, I went to prison. I was a 15-year-old and mentally, dog, emotionally, bro. You hold on to that person that you think you're supposed to be at 15 because that person was the first time that it actually worked for you. Yeah. People, you know what I'm saying? People respected you. The women loved you. You know what I mean? Whatever it is it did for you, made you feel more confident. Yeah. And we hold on to that person throughout our lives, and we don't emotionally mature. And that's what I was telling them. I was like, bro, you gotta shed that self, man. That person serves you no purpose no more, man. You a grown ass man. Yeah. You start feeling like it. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah, man. It's. I feel like every day, dog, is just like, it's like a lesson, man. I feel like it's hard, you know, with this podcast from grimy to shiny. It's hard not to get serious, dog. Yeah. But I know when I talk, bro, and when we talk, and when I talk to you, dog, I know it's gonna get moments where it's serious.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And like, dude, cause listen, life is a struggle. Life, the struggle's real, right? But those struggles are gonna make you a better person, period. And don't get me wrong, we get funny too. It can get funny too.
Nah, but sometimes that's what people need to. Sometimes that's what people need to hear is the realness, and it's not. I feel like the society and the world we live in today, a lot of that realness is sheltered and hidden from people, and so yeah, we sometimes that's what the people need to hear.
Oh, for sure.
And just keep it real with them and just tell them, you know, the hard truth.
And that's what I'm saying. We're in a day and age in this world where nobody wants to see real. Yeah. They want to see a tainted perception of what real is. Yeah. But as soon as you get real, they move on. Yeah. On a video, They don't want to, like when I do lives, man, I'm just like, bro, this is a live of substance. You know what I mean? I always talk about, like, dude, you guys ain't finna come up on my live and just sit up in here and watch me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's have some dialogue.
Yeah.
Let's learn something from each other.
Yeah.
I say, you gotta stimulate me. You gotta stimulate this mind. I said, let's talk about it. What we talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's like what people don't. Most people, they don't want to see the real, bro. They got the what is it? The blinders on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's such a dangerous place to be in.
Yeah.
Where you're not really wanting to see what's actually going on.
Yeah, this world is a lot. You know, looking at it, it's to me, it's a lot different from what I grew up on, and I don't know if it's just because we just have more platforms out there to express this false reality.
Yeah.
And so people get lost in this false reality on what they see on TV and social media and
for
stuff.
Sure.
And then they think that's what life and stuff's supposed to be like.
Sure,
and it's just
bro.
like, nah, that's not how it really is. That's not what it really is.
And that's why there's so much depression.
Yeah.
There's so much anxiety. There's so much deep-rooted mental issues because of the fact that people are watching other people's lives, right?
Yeah.
And they're subconsciously rewiring the synapses of their brain to think that's what happiness looks like.
Yeah.
Traveling every fucking day, big fancy $1 million houses, $1 million cars. So they think that's what constitutes happiness.
Yeah.
And when they're not, and for the average person, realistically, you're not going to attain that type of monetary value, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna reach that financial level for a lot of people. And so when they're seeing other people's, you know, like they say, highlight reels, and they're trying to gravitate towards someone else's happiness, and they don't reach that happiness, now they're sad.
Yeah.
Now they're depressed. You know what I mean? You can't look at somebody else's happiness and want their happiness for you because your happiness is different from them.
Yeah, same as success.
Yep.
This was a conversation I had the other day too.
Yep.
Like, you know, they were talking about what their definition of success was and how somebody was telling them like, "Oh, that's not successful. You need it." And I was like, "Don't let anybody ever tell you what your success is. You know, everybody's definition of success is different.
Subjective,
and you know, if somebody says their success is a millionaire, then let them chase that. You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
But if your success is to be a teacher and to just educate kids and make a teacher's salary, that's still your success. Don't let nobody tell you that's not successful.
Yep.
Like, and so, you know, everybody's success is different. Don't let what you see on TV and stuff define what your definition of success is.
Yeah, and a lot of times, and that's why a lot of times, bro, that kills people's drive to become successful.
Yeah.
You feel me? My reality is different from your reality.
Yeah.
My experience is different from your experience, right? My priorities are different from yours. And a lot of times our perception of success should be, which is speaking for myself, should be tied down to your priorities, tied down to your wife, your kids, your loved ones. That's what my success is tied to, right?
Yeah.
If I have a great conversation with my son, and I'm a great father, and that's what I attain to become as far as successful as a parent.
Yeah.
Dude, success is subjective, bro. I so much wholeheartedly agree with that, and that's why, like I said, dude, a lot of people, they lose their drive.
Yeah.
Because they're watching somebody else's highlight reels, or they're watching somebody else's success, and they're trying to level up to other people's perception of happiness, perception of success. That's why I do, like, when I talk to the guys at the ranch too, dog. I was just telling them this last night. I said, when I talk, I speak with conviction.
Yeah.
I think about, I don't just throw words out there, because I know how words affect other people.
Yeah.
It's already a bad thing that they're being affected by what they see.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, they don't even realize it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I said, what you're watching, what you're absorbing, it's like this is a computer. And what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're reading, what you're listening to, you're programming your mind.
Yeah.
And dude, success is something that we all should attain to in our own reality, right? Our own self.
Yeah, for sure.
And those are the ones who really become successful, because they figured it out.
Yeah.
My success is not yours.
Yeah.
And I don't care what you say. I won't even, sometimes, bro, I don't even talk about what I got going on, because I don't want to hear other people's self-limiting beliefs about what I got going on.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to hear your spell casting, right? Words are like casting spells, bro.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear your negative talk. I don't want to hear your self-limiting beliefs. I don't want to hear none of that. So I won't talk about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I know who I can and cannot talk to it about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's super important.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree 100%. It's yeah, man. I think this podcast really gonna help some people.
I do too, dog. I hope y'all tuned in, man. And for those of you guys who are listening, man, I hope somehow you derived some type of positive information from what we talk about, because really that's what it is. We're not trying to get like way too fucking break it down and be really complicated with it.
Yeah.
We're just giving y'all the secrets and the codes that we use, and you know what I mean. In the future episodes, we're gonna bring on some guys who are vibrating at a high frequency, some women that are vibrating at a high frequency that may have dealt with some moments, but they figured out the transition. You know what I mean, and hear their story and hear what they're talking about. You know what I mean.
And if anybody just learns one thing from this podcast, I think that serves the podcast
well.
For
sure.
And you ain't got to listen to this podcast and feel like you got to take something every single time. But as long as from time to time you take something that you can apply to your life and improve yourself and make yourself better and give yourself that 1% of improvement, I mean, to me, that's the success of this podcast.
Sure. It's meant for you.
Yeah.
And just know, even if you're just driving to work and you want to, let's just put this on and hear it in the background or whatever. I promise you, the talk that you're going to be getting from me and KJ, the conversations that we're going to be having, they're always going to be positively driven from a positive standpoint. So I promise you, subconsciously, your brain is a sponge. You may not be directly listening to it, and it may be in the background or whatever the case may be, but I promise you, your mind is absorbing it.
Yeah.
So appreciate y'all for tapping in with your boy Smaqs KJ. This is Grimy the Shiny podcast. I'm excited about it, and I think this was a good episode.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, man.
All right, man. Until next time.
Yeah, for sure, my dog.
Oh, yeah.
Number love, homie.
Yeah, for sure.